Well, welcome, my friends, to the show that never ends, and we're back, and it's the first.
Seven websites.
Welcome, my friends, back to the show that just never ends, and it's the 1st of January. I think I've got that right. Tired? We'll say that's a yes. No yawning, Kieran. We don't allow yawning on this programme. Wycombe have had a really good Christmas special. 4 matches, 3 wins, 9 points from Bristol Rovers. We beat. We did a thing on them. We lost to Plymouth, who are top of the table. We beat Ipswich. How can I forget I was there? And we watched this afternoon the game where Wycombe won at Peterborough 3-0. We are going to talk about that first. I didn't watch the one that was on the TV when we lost 1-0. Interesting lineup he put out for that one. But we saw today's. So, kick off, Kieran. How did we get on?
Well, probably the player that we had to go at most last time was, well, whether he was our best player, I don't know, but he came up with the big moments, didn't he? Good old wing.
He did. Scored 2, in fact.
Very nice goals. And, yeah, I mean, Peterborough, they looked like they nearly kind of got there in terms of breaking us down, but it never felt as though they were seriously going to kick on and cause us a real problem. I liked Taffers-Early and Jacobson at the back. They both looked absolutely fine together.
Yeah.
It's good to know. Of course, we normally get quite a few centre-back injuries. I think Farino is about, but for some reason...
Farino came on.
Did he? Well, I mean, Ainsworth doesn't mind.
Sorry, he left with about 10 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go.
Yeah.
So...
But still, I mean, he didn't start him. So Ainsworth doesn't mind playing a full-back at centre-back, and it normally works out pretty well, or it has done recently. So
yeah, he played 3 at the back. Without that Grimmer McCarthy link, which we've seen a few times. Didn't play that. But he keeps messing around with this, doesn't he?
He's had 2 last week, because 3 games in a week is obviously quite a lot, and he did completely change it against Plymouth.
I think he's doing better than I could, actually.
Well, I mean, we've had a go at Ainsworth in the past, haven't we, for chopping and changing and putting weird teams out at weird times. But over the last week or 2, or to be fair, now about the last month, realistically, he has got them right.
I mean, losing 1-0 to Plymouth is no big deal, really.
No.
Getting the other 3 points, getting 3 points off the other 3 teams was good going, because they're all relatively round us, aren't they? Or were. I mean, that's the thing. Peterborough
were above us.
Bristol Rovers were with us by a point. And then who else did I say we played? Ipswich above us. So we're actually doing. I mean, that's good return. Yeah. What else about what we saw today were you impressed with?
Trying to think. I mean, for a lot of what I watched, we didn't have too much of the ball, to be fair. I did think Grimmer was pretty good. Couldn't really fault what he was doing. Abita was putting in some nice crosses in the corner for Taffers-Early's goal, of course. Scowen was fine. Wing was fine. The 2 that we didn't see too much of was Mehmeti and McCleary. There wasn't exactly their time to shine at that point, so I think it was fine. And Vogue did a couple of things that were
near the end of the game.
That were good, but there was an hour of, again, not a lot.
Not a lot. No.
But we took the chances that we had, because we did have less chances than they did, according to the shots.
Yeah.
But It will go down at the end of the season as like one of our better performances in the league. I think it has to be said. Just because 3-0 away from home, clean sheet, all that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, of course, the next game is ages away. Got 2 weeks off.
FA Cup, is it?
FA Cup next week. Yeah, we're supposed to have Oxford, but that's been postponed. And so, yeah, we got 2 weeks off now. They've had that big sort of lot. Now they can go and take a rest. The Oxford game has been rescheduled to the 24th of January, which is a Tuesday when I'm back at work. So that's annoying. But yeah, Sheffield Wednesday next, and then Bristol Rovers again. And after all that crap that Mr. Bristol Rovers manager had to say about Wycombe, interesting. I'd be interested. They made comments on the football on the TV, Wycombe TV, about what Peterborough will be saying about Wycombe today, because of course we've had trouble with Peterborough before now, haven't we? They were the ones that weren't happy with Wycombe going up in the COVID period, were they? And they had a right go at Wycombe, and I believe they're not particularly overly pleasant toward us now. We're 3 points above Peterborough now, which is good. Kieran's just looking up some
mean
comments from Peterborough.
Well, I don't think we'll get many today.
Well, they should be more disappointed with their team, shouldn't they?
No, I mean, it wasn't like we did too much wrong, did we?
Do you understand why their fans were singing, 3-0 to the ref songs?
I think they wanted a couple of fouls, didn't they? They had a penalty claim that the ref was never given. The player looked like he wasn't even shouting for. So I think there was a couple of things that I definitely just wanted something to shout about.
But they didn't think that the ref gave them anything.
No.
Could you? Yeah, okay. I suppose if you're biased, I get that. I think. I mean, they weren't getting free kicks, were they?
No.
The referee did let things go, which is good when you win, and it's not so good when you lose. So, I mean, I thought it was good refereeing. If we'd lost 3-0 and it'd been the other way round, would I thought it was good refereeing? Probably not.
Oh, they had the goal that was not given that apparently they suggest went in.
Did it?
It doesn't look like it does just, but don't know.
You don't know.
I think it was 3-0 at that point anyway, so I don't think it really matters.
No. So all right, we'll call it 3-1 then. If that makes everybody happy, we'll call it 3-1. Although Wycombe are desperate to keep hold of that clean sheet, aren't they? Because certainly Mr. Goalkeeper.
Yes.
Good. He's good. Yeah. So there's not a lot more to say about that. What?
Apparently, obviously you get your Twitter transfer accounts who like to make up rumours. Whether this is a made-up rumour or not, I don't know. It sounds like it probably is. Sunderland are interested in signing veteran striker Sam Vokes.
Oh, hopefully.
For an offer of £150,000.
Would you take it? I would.
If we can get someone else in, then yes.
Because you don't need a goal scorer to replace Sam Vokes. You need somebody who can run a bit further and head the ball down.
Yeah.
So you don't need a goal scorer.
I'm sure there's plenty of those about as well.
Whereas they're wanting to buy what? A goal scorer?
I hope not.
Oh, we do hope, don't we? If we could sell him, that'd be a bonus,
he'll go for free at the end of the season. I'm not sure he's going to contribute too much more. So if you can get someone who's going to be our next maybe backup striker, maybe full-time striker for the next couple of years, then I don't see why you wouldn't do it.
No.
Obviously a bit more difficult in the Jan transfer window, but I'd say go for it.
So would I.
I doubt that's even true, by the way.
Yeah, no.
Sounds a little bit weird.
Yeah. It does sound a bit weird. Be nice, but anyway, of course the door is open now. We've got the month where players are going to be bought and sold. Obviously, that can be a little bit more entertaining in the Premier League than in our league. Of course, the one we're all watching for is to whether we can keep hold of Mehmeti for a bit longer.
Well, I mean,
that's the one.
They have identified the club who is after him, haven't they? And it is Nottingham Forest.
What, another player? How many do they want?
Well, I don't see why they'd want Mehmeti, to be honest with you. Of everyone they could get.
I think that wouldn't be a good move for him.
No, it needs to be.
If you'd said Sunderland going for Mehmeti, I think he should jump at it.
It needs to be a Championship club. It can't be Premier League.
That's right.
He'll get a couple of substitute appearances and then move down the leagues again.
Yeah,
I mean, we've seen it before with Wycombe players who end up doing that.
Yeah, who was that other striker that came to Wycombe when we were in the Championship?
I know who you mean. Ikpe, is he?
No, the other one. I can't remember his name.
I mean, it could be similar to Knight today.
Knight on the bench, and then there was another striker. I can't remember his name now.
I know you mean.
He's playing in Division 1.
Yeah.
Again, because he scored a goal, so it didn't do him any favours moving around. I don't think he got anything from it.
No.
And if you're happy where you are, I think people need to tell them the truth sometimes. They all think they're going to be superstars. And let's be frank about this. Mehmeti is better than Wycombe.
Yeah.
But he's not
a finished article by any means.
He's not better than a Premier League footballer.
No.
He's Championship.
His type of player, he's got to compete with your likes of kind of like, I can't think of it would be a Nottingham Forest, but Eze, for example. Gibbs White from Nottingham Forest. And Gibbs White is better than Mehmeti. Like, he's been in the Premier League well enough to be better. Eze, those sort of players for Crystal Palace, he's not as good as them.
No.
By quite a long shot at this point. Hence, he still needs to build himself up,
which
is fine.
Championship. So he's got to be. I do hope he's careful because he does have a good future. Just don't. I was going to say you're not Ronaldo, but then
Who's Ronaldo?
Yeah, well, he doesn't exist anymore, does he?
Not really.
No. We'll mention that a bit later, where he's gone and how much he's earning, shall we? Okay. Other things going on. 3-0. That was bloody good, wasn't it? 3-0. I like that. I wasn't expecting that. Bristol Rovers 2, Cheltenham 1. Well, that wasn't any great surprise, I don't think. Go away. Sorry. That's what it is. It's my phone. Forest Green 1, Port Vale 3. Yeah, of course. I was a bit surprised when they were I think they went 1-0 up Forest Green. I was a bit, after 2 minutes. Oh, right. So before the game really got going, they'd scored their goal. And then when the other team started kicking a football round, they won 3-1. Morecambe in that bottom 4 beat Burton 5-0. It seems all these bottom teams there seem to be a lot of bottom teams playing a lot of bottom teams somehow in my head.
A lot
of goals. And Oxford lost 1-0 to Exeter. If you look at in that sort of table, sort of bracket, Oxford in the sort of just slightly bottom half, those bottom halves all seem to sort of not be doing too well, and they're all following each other around. It's sort of, I'm sure if one of them could have a little burst of energy, they'd be out of it. Plymouth, MK Dons 3-1. Of course.
Yeah.
Portsmouth lost to Charlton. How long have those brothers got at Portsmouth, Kieran?
I don't think that's a good one. I don't think their Christmas period has been very decent at all. So I think they are running out of time at this point.
If you look, we've mentioned it before. That was the EFL they won last.
Last time they've won the league
Was back in October against Forest Green 1-0.
Yeah.
And before then?
Early September. They had such a good start, and then they've just completely cocked up.
So they've won one game, and since the middle of September.
Yeah, I think they are a bit stuffed at this point.
They're slow. I mean, they started really well. Thank goodness, which is what gave them all their points.
Well, they've had too many draws, haven't they? They haven't lost a horrendous amount.
No, they've only lost 5
out of 22, but they just have drawn every single game under the sun.
And Wycombe have lost 9.
Yeah,
in fact.
So it's difficult to say you should sack them based on their number of draws, but Portsmouth by now really, really need to get out of this league, and they're not anywhere near doing that.
Well, tomorrow, you've got a few more games. Oh, Fleetwood beat Shrewsbury. I think Shrewsbury had a player sent off, and then the goals went in. I think it was 0-0. I think their first goal was a penalty when their player got sent off. Tomorrow we got the Barnsley Bolton, which is a really big one because we're in 6th, I think, and that could change us again. And Derby Accrington, I'll show you the points in a moment, are desperate. We could really do with Accrington winning that one. Lincoln Ipswich, Sheffield Wednesday, Cambridge. So there's lots of biggies tomorrow. But if we have a look at that table at the bottom, you see how tight that is. Don't put it near that. At the bottom, you've got the bottom 4 teams are within 2 points of each other. Forest Green 20, MK Dons 21, Morecambe 21, Burton 22, and then Accrington 22. And sat at the top, we've got Plymouth 56, Ipswich 49 with a game in hand, Sheffield Wednesday 49 with a game in hand, and then Barnsley on 40 with 3 games in hand, in fact. And Wycombe sits 6th. So we're all right. We're all right. We played 1 or 2 more than the teams around us, but we're doing all right. Anything else to say on Wycombe?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I'm happy with where we are. It'd be nice to be 1 or 2 above, but we've lost 9 games, to be fair. So, you know, I think it's more of a case of the other teams. Well, teams like Portsmouth and Oxford, if they'd bothered and put a bit more effort in, they could get there, but they haven't. They're not good enough. Funny league this year. I just feel it's a bit of an odd one this year. The bottom 4 have stayed the bottom 4 all the way through, and the top 3 will stay the top 3 all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, it really is the last playoff places that are really the fight, aren't they?
2 playoff places really are what everybody's going for. Moving on then to yesterday, we'll move on to the Premier League in 1 second. Just want to mention, I've been reading a lot about a particular goalkeeper who didn't play today for Aston Villa. Mr. Martínez. People don't seem to sort of like his little darts around the football pitch during penalty times. There's been a lot of stuff I've read about him and how everybody thinks he's an animal. Not a nice one. I get it. I get his penalty things, right, for really, really irritating people. Is that a part of his job, do you think, in a penalty shootout?
And he's good at doing it.
Do you know what he said? They won the last 3 penalty shootouts. was it Colombia they had to play in their other?
Their other final. Was it them or Chile or someone?
Was
Yeah.
And he went up and he said to the player that just about to take the penalty, they've got it down recorded. He said, "I'm gonna F your mother and make you stand and watch." Was his conversation to try and put the guy off? How far do you think, as a goalkeeper, he is allowed to go?
I was about to say, like, what's your line with kind of what you're allowed to say? And morally, of course, you can't say anything offensive. So I was just going to say they've had the videos of Tafazzoli when we concede a penalty. Because obviously he mics himself up during the games, and there's stuff that he shouts at players. He shouts more at, like, he just puts them off by being like, "You're going to miss this. You've never scored. Your other teammate scores all the time. Why is he not taking it?" All that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But once it becomes a bit like, from our point of view, should he say it? No.
No.
But is he allowed? Apparently. And at the end of the day, if you're going to put them off more by doing it, then I guess you can.
Is it about time he got given a red card?
There's not going to happen, though.
Why?
Because, I mean, I'm not sure what the actual rules are as to verbal language, but I don't know if it's a yellow.
What about he does not? He does more than that, though. He goes up, he picks the ball up, takes it off of them, walks around with it, kicks it away.
That stuff is fine because every goalkeeper does that.
Right.
And that is just part of the mind games. There is part of penalty taking now is the mental aspect of it, because this gone so in depth now about what you need to do when taking a penalty. This is why we see 11-10s so much more often.
Yeah,
it's because players are so much better.
Except in the World Cup.
Except in the World Cup, where they're awful. Japan. Most of them, to be fair. So yeah, it is now part of it. Unfortunately, one of the ways to get in people's heads is by being decently offensive. Should it happen? No.
Now, outside of the pen, now this is where my argument. This is what I think, and that is okay. I'll let him get away with it in penalties because that's a part of the game. I feel as well. I agree with you. I think he should watch his language a little bit.
Yeah.
I think there's a point. Well, that's up to him in his head, but he's clearly not bothered about it in his own head and some of the things he says. But outside of that penalty shootout, then I think he's got things to answer for. What he did when he got handed that golden glove and what he did with the golden glove, I might add, and sort of went around pretending it was and having a wee, stuff. I think he should get a rollicking for it from the world, from FIFA. I think FIFA should take it off of him, actually.
Well, I mean, the fact that he wanted to begin was an absolute travesty. But yeah, I mean, supposedly Emery was going to have a chat with him.
He said he's going to, yeah, when he gets back.
And good. I mean, the stuff he's been having to go at Mbappe for as well.
Yes, a little
rubbish. Little doll with his face on it. It's like, why?
And giving him a moment's silence for him to cry and things like that. Yeah, not good. Not good.
I mean, even if Mbappe is not the nicest person, it's a lot of the stuff in the world that just doesn't need to be in the world, unfortunately. I mean, that's quite a deep way of looking at it. But it's just...
What I don't understand, it's the same as when players score and they go up to the away end and start doing all this. Like, the way you enjoy it is to make other people suffer. But why can't you just go to your end and enjoy it with the people who are enjoying it? And likewise, he's just won the World Cup. Why can't he enjoy it and be the moment and be proud and hold it out? I'm considered being I won the World Cup. You know, why can't he be that? Why does he have to try and put other people down and make them suffer? That, I think, says an awful lot about that guy's character. And how is he going to be received back in this country? Do you think? Do you think people would just ignore it and not think about it? Or do you think next time he comes out in an Aston Villa football shirt and goes and stands behind that goal, do you think he's in for it?
I don't think he's fully in for it. But I think if he was to do something in this country along the same lines, then yes, I think he would be in for it. But I don't think it's to renounce the hatred for him. But there will be still a lot of people who will. I'll be honest, if he played at Wycombe and he was in the Wycombe end, I think he would get an absolute rollicking. And deservedly so, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he's taken football down a step. I do.
Yeah.
I think he's taken football down a step. Yeah. Yeah.
Quite honestly, just by being a bit of an arsehole.
Yeah. I think he just generally, I think it'd be fair to say he is.
Yeah.
Because of the way the whole reactions to everything, all of this behaviour has all pointed towards somebody I don't think I like very much.
No.
Which is a shame because I think he's a good goalkeeper.
Yeah. I mean, if I saw him in an airport, I wouldn't go up to him.
No. No.
Yeah.
Well, he'd probably talk about something about what he'd do to you.
Mm.
Okay. Next topic. Wolves 0, United 1. Here goes your 1 minute. Or less.
Rashford fell asleep, woke up at half time. So
he wasn't even on to start the game, was he?
No, exactly. That's why he got dropped, because he fell asleep.
Is that why?
Yeah.
I didn't read why.
Yeah, he missed a team meeting because he was asleep. I saw a comment on the BBC Sport, like they do like the little reels of news, saying, I don't see the point of dropping Rashford for being late to team meeting. It's like, well, if you don't drop him, then everyone's just going to do it.
Yeah, no, I thought
and so he deserves, and he scored. It's like, well, yeah, fine, but he still deserves to be like sanctioned for it.
Yeah, well done, manager. Do you know what? I hate saying this.
He's doing a right job.
I like this manager. I think he's actually done really well. I do like him. I think he's disciplined.
Yeah.
And that is really what they needed, wasn't it?
Well, he got rid of Ronaldo.
It's all quiet as well, isn't it? Over it.
Yeah.
It's all suddenly all the jumping up and down about United is just sort of and they're sat there nicely in the top 4 or 5.
They have quietly made their way into 4th.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a struggle to get them out of it as well. The only reason they might struggle is because of their lack of proper striker. But no, they're doing fine. Wolves, I don't think it says too much. They lost to United. I think it's fine. Only losing 1-0 was okay. Don't know about whether they'll stay up or not.
No.
Bournemouth won't stay up. They lost to Crystal Palace 2-0. I don't think I actually watched this one. I didn't see the highlights of this one because I don't think I was too bothered. Well,
I was watching. I did sort of, but it got to a point where I couldn't be bothered anymore because it was the new year was coming in, and we had to watch the bloody lights on that wheel again.
Yeah,
because I just put on last year's.
No, Bournemouth are going down. They're rubbish. Fulham 2, Southampton 1. Southampton are in flipping big trouble because the only player they can have who scores a goal is Ward-Prowse, and that's from a free kick.
But look where Fulham are, Kieran.
Yeah, they're doing all right, aren't they? 7th. Don't know really how they've done it. But I mean, they're playing well, aren't they? I didn't realise their winner was that late. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Fulham doing well. Not too much else to say about them, to be fair. City, though, I've got lots to say about. Pep's an idiot. He likes to change his team up.
I asked you this. Where did he come from? And what sort of crap teams was he manager of for people to figure out he was a good manager? Because I can't honestly say I think he is a good manager. Because people make out he's so bloody clever, but he's only ever had the best team to be clever with.
Well, this is obviously the argument that is against him. However, you do have to have some talent. How many leagues has he won? Like 10 in the last 14 years or something. Like, he's doing something right. But he also does make a lot of weird and wonderful mistakes, like he's doing at the moment with his, for some reason, experiment on a back three with Akanji, who he signed from Dortmund. And I don't see the point, because he's got Cancelo and Walker sat on the bench. And this has been the team that has walked the league for the past 6 years. And he's now thrown in Lewis as a right wing back. There is nothing. Liverpool stick with the same team for the last 5 years with very minute changes because we know it, well, most of the time works. And I don't know why he's decided now he needs to go to a back three. Because we know a back threes can either work or they really don't. And at the moment, it's not really.
We're going to discuss back threes next week, right? I think. But so, what do you think? What do you think he's going to do next game? Because if you draw 1-1 at home against Everton, that doesn't suggest you're doing very well, does it?
No. No. He's also, he hasn't played. So I saw Saturday Foden.
Yeah, he was on a bench.
He hasn't played a full 90 minutes in his last 7 games for just some bizarre reason. The next 2 matches against Chelsea, that's interesting. They've got a few games coming up, to be fair. United, Spurs as well.
Yeah, their league games are away at Chelsea, away at United, and then home to Tottenham.
We discussed it last week as well. Arsenal have quite a similar run in January. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at the end of that, because it could well be that Arsenal will pull away too much that no one's going to catch them. City are weird. Haaland scored again though, so fantastic. Newcastle 0, Leeds 0. Newcastle had an incredible amount of chances and just didn't score any. That really should be a game that was just like 2 or 3-0.
Yeah.
But just one of those days where it didn't happen. It wasn't like Leeds were good at defending particularly. And then Brighton 2, Arsenal 4. They keep on going.
They do. That was funny. They're 3-0 up as well.
Yeah, I mean, the goals. I mean, I know I put them down a bit sometimes, but the goals again weren't fans. Ødegaard's pass to Martinelli for their 4th was very good. The first one was deflections all over the park. Ødegaard's goal was actually. Ødegaard has impressed me. That's to be honest. I thought he was just kind of a petered out kind of player he wasn't really all about it. But, I mean, he's captaining the team and he's coming up with goals and assists left, right, and centre. So. Yeah, he is very good. Okay,
if we just go back one day. No, actually, we'll go to today, and then we'll go back to Liverpool's on Friday, because there we go. Tottenham 0, Aston Villa 2.
Donkeys. I think, despite the fact.
Did you see the goals?
Yeah. Lloris is just not a good goalkeeper. Don't know how he's kept his place for Spurs for so long. Conte is under pressure now.
He is.
Not that he wasn't before, but I mean his league position was okay before. But soon enough, Liverpool are going to overtake them. Spurs are they've got decent players, but they haven't got brilliant players, and so they can lose games like that pretty easily. Forest 1, Chelsea 1.
Now, I think the one I wanted to pick out of that, right, this talks about what Chelsea are like. That Chelsea went 1-0 up. Okay. and they were 1-0 up for the first hour. They had 72% possession compared with 28% Nottingham Forest. Now, that's a sort of, I'm not saying possession means you win, because we know, Wycombe, we know that isn't the case. But what does stand out is the expected goals, that with 28% only the ball, they had 1.2% expected goals. Chelsea had 0.9.
That's not that big a difference.
No. And the total shots was 12 for Nottingham Forest, 7 for Chelsea. Big chances, 2 to Chelsea and none to Nottingham Forest. Now, that to me screams not doing enough when you have the ball. That you're missing something. You're missing a midfield attacker. Would that be a fair comment? Just by reading the statistics. Am I right or wrong? Please.
Fans were more saying, from what I saw, that they were missing more of a striker as opposed to an attacking midfielder. I mean, Mount is always going to be there, kind of thing. And then I do like Sterling. And I think with better players around him, he may well be better. Havertz should not be up front. He should be in one of the three at the back. The three attacking midfielders. Pulisic, I'm not never have been convinced about. And then somehow they've managed to spend 200 million on this team, and it just looks like it needs another 200 million pounds spent on it. This is the problem.
Yeah, it doesn't look great, does it?
I mean, you've got Thiago Silva, who's 38, you will be moving on to. I know they bought Fofana, but I don't understand why they bought him for so much money. I thought it's not bad, but he's not brilliant. And Koulibaly, I feel, was pretty average as well.
The interesting thing is their back line and goalkeeper all had the high points. The two in the middle, and the one standing in front of the two in the middle, which was Mount, Jorginho and Zachary.
Yeah, I don't know.
Where the ball's going straight on down the middle to Havertz, they were all, including Havertz, the low points. So where it mattered. So it was all getting up the sides and being kept out the back, but there was nothing in the middle. Okay, Chelsea. So Chelsea aren't going to be a threat, are they?
No, they're just whatever. Good point for Forest, but I don't think it's going to mean much. Still think they'll go down. Liverpool 2, Leicester 1. What a cracking game from the boys. Big up, what's his name? Face, don't know, for scoring our 2 own goals.
Cool.
Overall, we were better than Leicester. As much as I love him, Darwin does need to finish a few in the next couple of games. He's had enough now. I say he's had enough. If he keeps on doing the things he is doing for Liverpool, I'm not going to be too fussed. If he doesn't score all of his chances, but he does need to score a few of them.
I'm just going to tap into YouTube if it comes up. It's a bit slow. I was just going to put in Darwin misses and see if you can watch a good 10-minute. Darwin Núñez can't stop missing.
Yeah, it's not 25 minutes.
Is it not?
Well, it's not just 25 minutes of him missing.
1% miss. I found all of Darwin Núñez's fatal misses. Oh, so we can all look them up. If you fancy a good laugh and have a look at how good you are at missing. Is he not like a bit like Mr. Chelsea was, the guy, what's his name, that German up front? Werner.
I think he...
Sorry. That was me putting my phone next to the microphone.
It is better than Werner by quite a distance. People generally got very annoyed at Werner for all of his misses and his play style in general. If Núñez finished his chances, people would be talking about him with Haaland. In terms of what he brings to a team, in terms of his pace and all that sort of thing, like, he is not as good as Haaland, but he's flipping close. But he just needs to finish them.
So Núñez needs to finish them.
Yeah.
Chelsea need to spend a few million again.
I mean, they Chelsea bought Nkunku, haven't they, from Leipzig, who I think is coming in the summer, who is very good. But again, who's to say he's going to hit the ground running?
Okay. Who's to say? Right, the table. Okay, we have Arsenal, 43. They're 7 points clear of City. Then Newcastle, United, Tottenham, Liverpool, Fulham. Now, Liverpool, can they get in there in the top four?
Yeah.
They're only 4 points behind.
I do think there will come a point when Newcastle do drop off. And I do think United won't keep going as well as they can do.
And they are only 3 points, or if you like, behind Newcastle because of the game in hand. If Liverpool win their game in hand, they're only 3 points off of Newcastle.
Yeah.
In third.
I do think it will depend on us if we get into the top four or not. I don't think it matters on anyone else. If we can get into our stride and do what we have done in previous seasons, then I think we'll be able to do it.
And we keep saying, I keep asking, do you still not think Arsenal are going to win the title? I'm waiting for that Sunday turn.
No.
You don't?
No.
Okay. Who is?
So.
Okay. And at the bottom, there's a few pretty close. We'll start with Leicester at 13th on 17 points. 14th is 16 points is Leeds. 15th, Bournemouth with 16 points. Everton with 15 points. West Ham with 14 points. Then the bottom three, Forest 14 points, Wolves 13 points, and Southampton 12 points. So, all within 5 points they are. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams within 5 points dropping in and going down. Out of those, I presume I don't think the ones above them will. Out of those teams, Leicester, Leeds, Bournemouth, Everton, West Ham, Nottingham Forest, Wolves, Southampton. What you've seen so far, which three are going down?
Southampton, Forest and Bournemouth.
Okay, so 2 of them are in there. You think Wolves will get out and Bournemouth will go down instead of? Okay, you heard it here. You know where to put your money, you know how to gamble. We'll say goodbye now. It's been a busy Christmas, hasn't it? And we've had a really good time. Wycombe have had a great time. How many games have Liverpool played? 2 and 1. 2. And so we've done all right this year so far. We're 100% 2023.
Wow.
And we haven't let a goal in all year. And so we'll say goodbye. Kieran, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
And I'll say goodbye.